Hi boys and girls, this is your math e-learning lesson for Tuesday, May the 5th. Let's take a look at lesson 130. Lesson 130 is dividing by two-digit numbers. Okay, dividing by two-digit numbers. So let's take a look up here. 95 divided by 31. So now you know that you're going to be looking at the whole number 35 and looking to see how many times 31 is going to go into 95. Because you cannot do any smaller numbers. You can't do division by any smaller numbers here. Why? Because here you would have 9 and you can't say 9 divided by 31. So it is 95 divided by 31. However, you do use the smaller division problems to help you figure out what your quotient is going to be here. So what we can do here is we sort of cover what's in your ones place and just simply look at, well, 9 divided by 3. Well, you know that 9 divided by 3 equals 3. So then there's a good chance that completing 95 divided by 31, that's also going to be 3. So sometimes what it's a good idea to do is to say, well, I think I'm going to try 3 because I know that 9 divided by 3 equals 31. But I also need to know, well, what would 31 times 3 equal? So I work that out, and I see that 31 times 3 equals 93, so that'll work very well here. Now remember that you have to keep your quotient above the single digit here. It goes right above the ones place because you're saying 95 divided by 31, so the 3 gets written up here. And I see that 31 times 3 equals 93, so I write that down and subtract it. 5 minus 3 is 2. I look, there's not another digit to bring down, so then this gets brought up as my remainder. And if you were going to multiply and do that multiplication checking, it would be 3 times 31, which is 93, and then you add on your remainder plus 2. That gives you 95, and that's what we started with. 246 divided by 43. Well, here we can break this problem down a little bit. We're obviously not going to say 2 divided by 43. Well, could we say 24 divided by 43? No. So once again, we cannot break it down. So now we have 246 divided by 43. Well, that's a lot to know. Well, 43 times what would equal 246? So again, you do break it down to help you figure out what you should multiply by. So the way I break it down, I would look, well, I can't say 2 divided by 4, but I could say 24 divided by 4. I'm actually not going to do that division, okay, because we can't really say 24 divided by 43. This is just a strategy for help us to figure out what the quotient should be. So if I use this, I could say 24 divided by 4 equals 6. So I'm just going to multiply 43 times 6 to see what I get and to make sure that will work here. So 6 times 3 is 18, 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25. Look what happens. This is why it's good to multiply it like this first to see if it will work. In this case, even though I broke it down and I said, well, 24 divided by 4 is 6, it doesn't work because 43 times 6 is 258 and I only have 246. So by doing this, I can see that this number, in this case, is too high. And so I need to go lower. So now because I know the 6 doesn't work, I'm going to try the 5 instead. 5 times 3 equals 15. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 is 21. So that will work here. So I put my 5 here over the ones place because I am saying 246 divided by 43. I know that that equals 215. And so I subtract 31. I don't have any other digits to bring down. 31 becomes the remainder. And yes, you can have a remainder of 31. Remember, as long as your remainder is less than your divisor, it's acceptable. It has to be less than the divisor. If it's the same as the divisor or higher, it means you didn't go high enough here with your quotient. Okay, so remainder of 31 is correct. So I've already done part of my checking. 43 times 5, which is 215. You add on that remainder of 31. And you have 246, which is what I started with. Okay? Next example. This one is actually the first one in your practice. 128 divided by 32. Okay, again, I can't break it down smaller to do the actual division of 32, but I can break it down to give me an idea of what to multiply by. And so when I break it down, I have 12 divided by 3, which would be 4. So now I'm going to work it out to see if I can use 4. 32 times 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 128. Oh, look at that. Okay, it goes evenly. So 4 times 32 equals 128. Okay, 0 is an answer. There are no other digits to bring down. You don't bring up 0. It just means it went evenly. Okay. All right, let's do a few more. Going through the practice. Okay, this is A in the practice. Okay, let's move on to B in the practice. 90 divided by 21. And then let me write down C here is 68 divided by 25. Okay. And D is 250 divided by 42. Okay, so let's work this out. 90 divided by 21. You cannot break it down to do smaller division, but you can break it down to help you come up with your answer, or an estimate at least. So 9 divided by 2. 9 divided by 2 is 4 because 4 times 2 equals 8. So let's see, 21 times 4 is 84. So that would work here. 21 times 4 equals 84. Write it down and subtract. Okay, 6. No other digits to bring down. You bring your 6 up as your remainder. Then to check your work, 4 times 21 equals 84, plus the remainder of 6, 90, and that's what you started with. Okay, 68 divided by 25. And to help us have a number to multiply by, we can say 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So let's try that out. 25 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. 75. It's greater than the dividend that I have. So it tells me I need to go lower. So I'm going to do 25 times 2. Okay. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. 50. So I'm multiplying 25 times 2. It's 8. And bring down the 1. Okay, so 18. I don't have any other digits to bring down. I bring that up as the remainder. Remainder of 18. That is less than the divisor, so that's fine. So now I check. 25 times 2 is 50, plus the remainder of 18. 8. I get 68, and that's what I started with. Okay, problem D. 250 divided by 42. Break it down to give me a place to start. So I do 25 divided by 4, which would be 6. 42 times 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25. 252. I only have 250, so this is too high. I need to go lower. Remember, this is just simply a way for us to come up with an estimate of what we should be multiplying by. So we tried the 6, that was too high. Let's try 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 is 21. Okay, that will work. 5. This is 210. Subtract 40. No other digits to bring down, so you need to bring that up as your remainder. 40 is less than 42, so it is an acceptable remainder. Now to check your work, 42 times 5 is 210, plus we add on the remainder, 250. That's what we started with. Okay? All right, we might as well do the last two together. Okay, we have 164 divided by 46. And 225 divided by 31. Okay. 164 divided by 46. Just break it down so we have a place to start. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Let's see, will that work? 46 times 4. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 is 18. 184. Okay, too high. Can't do that, so 4 is not going to work. So now I'll need to try 3. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 4 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. That will work. And then we need to subtract. That's 6. That's 2. No other digit to bring down. We bring that up as a remainder. It is less than what our divisor is, so it's fine. To check, 46 times 3, 138, plus we add on the remainder of 26. 164, that's what we started with. Last one, 225 divided by 31. We break it down, 22 divided by 3 would be 7, because 7 times 3 is 21. So let's see if that works. That's 7, and 7 times 3 is 21, 217. So that does work here. Then you need to subtract. Okay, and we just got a remainder of 8. Check. 31 times 7 equals 217, plus we add on the remainder of 8. 225, and that's what we started with. So the most important thing that you need to remember about when you are doing division like this, when you have this 2-digit divisor, is that you're looking for smaller, basically they're like clues, smaller clues, okay, smaller numbers to work with so that you have an idea of where to begin here. Okay, because no one knows, when they look at 225 divided by 31, you're not just going to know, oh, I know it's going to be 7. No, so we break it down and we look for clues that will help us. Well, I do know that 22 divided by 3 equals 7, so I know my answer will be about 7. Sometimes that's the number I need, and other times you say, here, 16 divided by 4 is 4. Okay, I tried 4 and it was too high, so I actually had to go down to 3. But it gives you a place to start so that you're just not randomly picking numbers and multiplying to see what works. You're using the clues that you have within the problem itself. Okay, so again, you want to sort of break it down and look to see what the simple fact, look for that simple, that basic multiplication fact in every problem. Look for the basic multiplication fact that you can use in every problem. Okay, right here, 25 divided by 4. So you always want to look for that basic multiplication fact because that's going to help you figure out what you should be dividing by. Okay, all right. Today, lesson 130, numbers 1 to 29. Numbers 1 to 29. Remember to work carefully. You're working on long division. You want to keep things lined up, one under the other. Okay, you need to be careful where you're writing your quotient. Remember, it's going above the last digit that you're using. You're actually saying 164 divided by 46, 164, so your quotient has to be above that 4. You're saying 225 divided by 31. Your quotient has to be above the 5. So you're looking for that digit in the ones place and making sure you put your quotient above that. Okay, so again, work very carefully. Keep things lined up. Keep it neat. That will help you with making fewer mistakes. And remember, your goal is to get as many correct as you can, working carefully on your own. Don't forget, with these problems, it's a good idea to do this multiplication checking to verify your work, because sometimes it may look to you one way here, or you may get confused and put the quotient in the wrong spot, and then maybe fill in with the 0. And then if you do your multiplication checking, you'll see that you're way off, and that will help you realize, okay, what you did up here. All right, so again, work carefully, line things up neatly, and go back and do these multiplication checking, okay? And that will help you know if your answer is correct or not, okay? Don't forget IXL and Extra Math. Spend some time on that. And again, you know, if you need help, please make sure you reach out to me so that I can help you, okay? And I'll talk to you later. Bye.